A very warm welcome to Unacademy session, and today's session is going to be qualities required for you to be good at group discussions. Now, before I start, let me wish each one of you to take care, very good care of yourself during this tough time of virus. Please take absolute care, stay at home, be safe. It's important for you to be safe, and the best part about Unacademy is it brings learning to your doorstep. If there's any learning, any questions, please do it online. With that, I would want to once again tell you, be safe. So what we're going to do today is talk about what are all the qualities that you would require in order to be good with group discussions, number one. Number two, how do we make our group discussions very effective? All right, with that, let's get started. A quick introduction about myself. I'm Nitin Prabhakar. Why the right person to teach you or talk to you about group discussion is because I have been in the human resources field for 15 years. I have conducted a lot of group discussions, and with my experience, I will be able to share what has gone well, what has few individuals done something that is really remarkable, and what are a few things that we can avoid doing in a group discussion. All right, this which is NITINPKAR-4915. Please use my referral code in order to avail a 10% discount. All right, let's start the journey of the qualities required to be great at group discussions. Number one, if I have to talk about the three assertive, a lot of time what I've noticed is I can give you on an average 60% of the participants in a group discussion go into a shell. They don't really interact. They think it's absolutely okay to just interact once, and then they keep quiet, they keep listening to everybody, and they wouldn't have contributed enough, and thereby me as an assessor, I don't have a choice but to give them not great scores. It's very unfortunate, but that's the fact of the matter. 60% of them do not speak up. The reason why they don't speak up is because they lack in confidence and they're not very assertive in their communication. Now, what does assertiveness mean? When I'm talking about assertive, there's a difference between being aggressive. State your opinion. According to me, this is my opinion. It's important to give your opinion. Other than the facts, other than the realities, it's important to give your version of the story. All right? I hope you're able to see me because I am getting some no connection error. Yeah, I'm back right now. Perfect. Now, the third one is listen to others. I told you listening is one of the most important skills. Now, it's important for you to listen to others just so that you can add your data, add your point. If somebody is giving wrong information, you can always go back and correct it. Plus point. If somebody is telling something that you don't agree to, you can always counter argue. Plus point. If somebody has said something good, you can always appreciate them. Hey, that's what you said is absolutely making sense. Thank you for making the point. Plus point. So these are the ways that listening can, be beneficial to you. Add your point of view, of course. Don't really repeat what others have said. You can add fresh points, and that can again come from listening. When you've listened to multiple people, you can add your own point. In the next slide, I'm going to tell you a few more tips as to how you can make it more interesting. All right? How do you close a group discussion? End with your conclusion. There's a difference between summary and conclusion. Summary is, remember one thing, don't start, if your assessor tells you to summarize, don't start with a fresh point. When you summarize, just ensure that you take everybody's point and summarize, and just not your point. But however, when you conclude, you should give a conclusion of your own. Summary is basically what happened, you're going to talk about all of it, but when you conclude, it's your version. According to me, this particular point stands good because of so reason. That is, the conclusion is your version of the whole conversation. That's the difference between a summary and a conclusion. Conclude. And after you conclude, it would be great if you can end with a caption, end with an example, end with a question. According to conclude, I think India should be a lot more cleaner country. So, does India deserve it? I would want to conclude by asking each one of you, does India deserve to be a better nation? Thank you. what happens? Leaving a very, very high impactful, you know what they say, the first impression, right? The first impression is the best impression. However, the last impression is a very lasting impression. It's going to last for a long time. The assessor has seen you closing on a very high note. Of course, you're going to get a lot of positive points, and you're leaving an impression in the mind of the assessor. So very, very important. Remember these steps. Moving on. Do's in a discussion. Listen to the subject carefully. Or sometimes what has happened, the interviewer or the lecturer, who is, I will call them as assessors, give you very tricky questions just so that people get confused. So listen to it carefully. Once you listen, put it down on your paper. It's important for you to write down that question. Normally, when the question is when the topic is provided to you, you're given 30 to 60 seconds to think about it. During that time, write down the topic and then write down the pointers. Let me give you another point that 60 to 70% of the people don't carry a sheet of paper or a pen or a notepad. If you are carrying it, then definitely it serves to your purpose. It serves a lot of benefit to you, because you are able to list down the things, not only in the start, but even when people are talking, you might want to quickly jot down what is the how do you rebuttal to those questions, right? Quickly note small one word sentences, just so that you're able to remember what you would want to discuss. You can always refer that, and then you can always counter it with your participants. So put it down, put on your the topic and also your thoughts on the paper. The third one is initiate the discussion if you know the subject well. It's a high risk, high gain. In case if you start well, phenomenal, you're gonna you're somebody who's an initiator, you're somebody who takes up things. If it's difficult also, you're a leader. Those are all the messages that you're creating. But if you don't know the topic, best avoid it. If you don't know the topic but still you would want to start, it is going to be a massive negative for you. So please be sure that you know the topic quite well, and only then get into it, right? Listen to others if you don't know the subject. I've already covered this, because that is what will help you gain the knowledge, and then you can start contributing. How much should you contribute? How many times should you contribute? Ensure that you contribute 15 to 30 seconds and 3 to 4 times in the whole conversation. If it's any lesser, you may not be able to create an impact. But if it's too many times, 7-8 times, then the interviewer would think that you're not giving a chance to anybody else. It doesn't seem like you're a people person. So thereby it's important to keep it 3 to 4, maximum 5 times, 15 to 30 seconds every time you contribute. 30 seconds would be great, but normally you get cut off within 30 seconds, unfortunately. Ankesh, what's up? I hope you're doing well. And that's a piece. Welcome, Ankesh. If there's any question, Ankesh and the other viewers, if there's any questions, please go ahead, shoot those questions. We are talking about group discussions. How do we create an impact? What are the qualities that is required? So if you have any questions, please do shoot. We can make it as interactive as possible. Now, just to give you a background, I come from the human resources experience. I'm headed human resources. I've been a part of that for 15 years in various MNCs, which includes Infosys, Satyam, 24/7, Convergys. I have conducted several group discussions, so I can share some of the experiences that I have with each one of you, just so that I can share what has remained in my head, who has created an impression, what did not really work well for me. So with that, I'm going to continue. If there are any questions coming my way, I'm going to stop by and answer your questions. Give others a chance to speak. If you have seen, it's a beautiful people management skill. This is a big point for you to gain. If you've seen 5-6 people have not contributed, and if you've contributed already enough, and if you've seen that just 3-4 people are contributing, you can always say, you know what, guys, I think let's listen to our other friends who have not spoken yet. It's important for us to learn from everybody. Why don't you contribute? Is it okay for you to speak? Is it okay for you to speak? And how about you? Can you please contribute? Now, what's happening? The assessor is watching you, and that will speak very highly about you, because you are just not wanting to gain the attention of the assessors by speaking, but you are also displaying your leadership quality. So very, very important. Do that, but don't fake it. You should ideally do that in your day-to-day life. It's not only in a GD. If you see somebody who's finding it difficult, not contributing, please help them. Because when you do it in your daily life, in a GD when you do it, it comes out naturally. But if you're not somebody like that, and in a GD when you do it, it seems very artificial, right? Is there any novel which I can read to boost my GD capability? Well, Ankish, I have not come across any novels or a book on a GD. I have not read it. I'm sure there are many. Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie is one of the great books to read with regards to personality development. So I'm sure Dale Carnegie would also have books on GD. I have learned group discussions predominantly by conducting GDs. Like I said, I think I've conducted at least roughly around 100 group discussions. That's how I've gained my experience, and experience is one of the best teachers. So that's how I've learned. Unfortunately, I've not read any book on GD. I must say that I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot of books, predominantly management books, development books, leadership books. Nothing on GD yet. Sorry, Ankesh, on that. All right. Where was I? Give others a chance to speak. Speak politely and pleasantly. Respect contributions from other members. Please remember to respect the contribution of others. If you don't agree, you don't have to be really aggressive at them. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be curt. Please contribute in a manner that, hey, that's a great point. However, I beg to disagree. That seems like a valid point. Or I don't disagree to your point. Start with statements and make statements in a manner that it doesn't hurt anybody. It's important for you to be, polite. It is also important for you to be pleasant. If you come across as very animated, very aggressive, again, may not show really well. So be very calm, pleasant when you're talking. Shows that you're very, very confident. Summarize the discussion. If the group has not reached a conclusion, if there is no conclusion, predominantly there's no conclusion in a group discussion, you like it or not. Does accent matter? Ankesh, not at all. Accent does not matter. I have, in one of the companies, I had gone there to conduct group discussions. There were a set of 10 people. I chose somebody whose accent he is basically from the North Karnataka background. There were 3-4 people whose accent was so good, the communication was so good. However, the North Karnataka person, his accent wasn't good, but he had great clarity of thought. He had great subject knowledge. The confidence level that he portrayed, though his accent wasn't good, the confidence level was so good. He was able to get everybody together, all the people together. So if you look at it, all these qualities that he portrayed was so impressive that accent did not even matter. Well, if you have a neutral accent, that's a benefit. Yeah, I'm talking about GD itself, Anish. There were around 10 people, 3 to 4 people's accent was really good, but I selected this individual whose accent wasn't good, but he had a great attitude, great subject knowledge, and his clarity of thought is something that I really can't forget, because he was phenomenal. So if you look at it, it's just not one quality that people are not looking for. Now, what does accent mean? In India, we look at neutral accent. We don't look at any foreign accent. A lot of people try to portray American accent, UK accent, not required. If you say water, people will understand. But a lot of people say English, and I don't get it right. Can I get some water? That's UK. Can I get some water? That's US. Comes across very fake. So if you stick to your local accent, great. But if you don't have the accent yet, start working on it. It's absolutely okay if you have mother tongue influence, no issues. But work on your clarity of thought, subject knowledge, being nice to people. These are all much more superior to accent, is what I feel. Alright, summarize the discussion. In a GD, the summary will, each one of them will be ending up with their own thoughts. So definitely people will not come to one conclusion. So you can ideally summarize by saying we had brilliant points, some for and some against. These were some of the points that I would want to say. These were some of the points which went against. However, I would want to conclude by saying, conclusion is your version. Just a one statement conclusion or maximum 2 statement conclusion, and then close your conclusion. Alright. Now, what we're going to do is take an example of Make in India versus Make for India. If this is the topic, how do you start? We said we're going to start with the caption, or four best ways of starting. One is, we spoke about examples, stories. Stories can be too long, so if you don't want to do that, start with the facts, start with the caption, start with asking questions. Now here you're starting with the caption, and what is the caption? The topic is Make in India versus Make for India. Now you're starting with the caption, sell anywhere in the world but make in India. Make in India is a lion step, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Beautiful way to start. You started with the caption. If you have a caption handy, use it. Best that you use it. Have around 10 different captions in your mind. If that comes across, use the caption. Very, very impactful way to start a conversation. The moment you start a conversation, then the next one is defining, so that it is going to benefit everybody who's there. There are 10 people who are there. Some people may not really understand what is Make in India, Make for India. Is there a difference? What are you doing is getting everybody on the same page by defining the particular topic. Now what would you say? You say Make in India is manufacturing in India and selling across the globe. However, the difference with Make for India is manufacturing anywhere across the globe and selling it in India. Now that's the difference. Make in India is a current government initiative. This is a topic on economics that requires a discussion, and I welcome all fellow members to contribute towards this healthy discussion. Right? That's a brilliant way to start, isn't it? You have defined, you've explained everybody, you've got everybody onto the same page, and then you're inviting everybody for the conversation. And if you're talking about Make in India, some of the points that you can talk are here. Quickly make a note. The moment you get that 30 to 60 seconds at the beginning of the GD, these are some of the points that you can make notes, and then you can talk about it. Like I said, contribute between 15 to 30 seconds, between 3 to 5 times. Right? 3 to 5 times you need to contribute. During those 3 to 5 times, you can cover all these points. This would be done to boost exports and incentives and incentivize import substitution. It encourages employment. Make in India, of course, will increase employment. The moment there's an increase in the employment, the business grows. There is new business avenues. The moment this happens, there's going to be more exports. When there are more exports, and when there's more production, there's more GDP. Our current GDP is say 5%. Whatever is the current GDP, ensure that you know what is the current GDP. How many states are there? How many union territories are there? What is our overall growth percentage? Get to know some of the facts so that you can use it at any point of time. The moment there's more GDP, there's more growth, what happens? The earning capability of the individuals increase, thereby the purchasing power increase. So some of the points that you can talk are these when it comes to Make in India. You can also look for some facts as to Make in India has helped India grow by what percentage, and so on and so forth. If you're talking Make for India, then you can talk about we are not ready for Make in India. Because less than 5% of the citizens have gone through formal training or skill training, so we have a long way to go. No country can produce everything, and thereby it's important for us to go ahead and import things. And when we import things, there are a couple of advantages. One, it's going to be competitive market. Number two, we are going to import from the experts. Somebody is really good at something, we are importing it from them. Instead of we want to do everything out here, it's better that we get the best qualities, and thereby it's going to lead to healthy competition. Import helps in innovation, improves bilateral trade. If we say we are not going to import anything, what happens? Nobody wants to buy from India, thereby the bilateral trade is going to be tarnished, and by getting into imports, Make for India is definitely going to be beneficial. Now if you see, both Make in India and Make for India has its own plus, has its own minuses. Talk about all the pluses. Ensure that you have good counters against the other individual. Make it very interactive. Remember, it's a group discussion and not a debate. In a group discussion and a debate, there's a difference. In a debate, one wants to prove that they are right. In a discussion, one wants to know what is right. So when you are discussing, you are listening. That's the difference between a discussion and a debate. All right. And how do you conclude? If I'm talking for Make in India, then I would say, when I'm speaking for the topic, to conclude, I will like to say Make in India is an initiative that can take India to greater level of success and make India a country with unlimited opportunities. Very, very positive, affirmative statement, and end with a thud. Unlimited opportunities. Thank you. If you have to speak or make for India, I'm adding a caption out here. While I'm speaking against the topic, I would like to say firstly we need to have skill up India and then make in India. For now, we are not ready. Hence, I stand with the ex-governor of RBI, Raghuram Rajan, who says, make for India. Thank you. Alright, so what are you doing is you're ending with a beautiful conclusion, a power-packed conclusion, something with a caption, something with an impact. So that is how you end a particular group discussion. Do you see that the start was great, the content was great, and the conclusion is great? What are the chances of you getting selected if this is the process that you're going to follow a GD? I would say it's 100%. Accent, keep it aside. You need to be a great communicator, which is basically something is in your head, you should be able to communicate that. You should be a great listener. You should be having great people skills. These are the top 3 things that you need to have in order to crack a group discussion. Ensure that that your subject knowledge, you know the topic. Otherwise, listen up and then you can always contribute. We've already spoken about some of the do's, some of the must-haves, the top 3 things that you need to on. With that, I'm really hoping that this session would benefit you to crack your GD after your CAT examinations. The GD is one of the most commonly used selection criteria. I'm really hoping that you can benefit in the process. If there's any question that you have, please do reach out to me. Feel free. Till the 28th, I'm going to be on YouTube daily, most regularly. I think a couple of days we don't have this session, but otherwise on a regular basis we do have this session. 6:30 is when we start, so please come over, join me, make it very interactive. If there's any questions, please shoot. Anish and others, if there's any questions, please go ahead and ask me. And in the meanwhile, if you've liked what you've heard, if you've learned anything from this session, please give it a thumbs up. Share this video to all your friends, because it's important for everyone to get the benefit out of this session. And follow me on YouTube, Unacademy channel. Use my referral code, which is down below, Nitin, NITINPKAR-4915, to avail a discount of 10%. Anish, I'm guessing there's no question. Thank you so much for joining. Viewers, have a lovely evening and the rest of the day. Once again, please be safe from coronavirus. Quarantine yourself, stay at home as much as possible, and take care of yourself. Thank you.